with the tip. Dang, we got speedsters all tonight. I'm gonna let you figure that out. Cut it down lower, but it actually did a lot more than that. That is a good chip. That is a good chip. Told you. We off the green, 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 and that was the eagle right there. Freaking ugh. Oh my gosh, that was perfect. Unlike no, oh my gosh, y'all, chat.
But I don't want to be corny. Do I look like a vegetable? Why was I gonna make a shot? Cheers, y'all. That was probably the stupidest thing I did. This is the adult water right here.
Yeah, that was some... I'm sorry, that was toxic as hell.
Scurry feet, scurry feet, scurry feet, scurry feet. Scurry feet, scurry feet. Scurry feet. Plot armor, bitch! Plot armor, bitch! Plot armor, bitch! Plot armor! Let's go! Let's go! Clutch up!
Oh, that's why I love Vampire Ball. Come on, come on, come on. We're right there. Got him! Bet you didn't saw that coming, bitch. See, this is actually my photo. Oh, there you go. Boom, face review. Oh, yeah. And this is what I looked at this, and this reminded me of Banana Fish. I forgot his name. Ash. This reminded me of Ash from Banana. I kid you not. I kid you not. GG's on that one! Default dance on you. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what
Slide in your DMs and you die. You slide in my DMs, then you die. I'ma murder you, then you're gonna cry. It's a bang bang shoot 'em, then I lie, then I'm gonna lie. You was trying to run, but you can't hide from me.
my patented flop. Ready flop right here. Fast. Look at that. Oh! The patented Freddy flop right there.
How did you literally caught? What the hell was that? You just disappeared. They just disappeared. Y'all all saw that. Nah. I gotta clip that.
You fell for my trap card. I'm back in this bitch.
Hello and salutations, everyone. Top of the time zone to you all. It is none other than Alfredo Jameson here for Freddie J here on the channel. Welcome more to the Cruel Summer Marathon. Hello. I didn't realize I was a parent. But hello, hopefully all is well with you, KDT. I appreciate you for coming by. We're here for approximately gonna be a long time today. Hopefully not too long, honestly, because I ain't gonna lie, I kind of want to get done as much as I can. So that way I can, I wish to be able to, I need to play some Umamusume. Pretty derby. Yeah. You got this? I appreciate it. But we're going to deal with a boss battle, I believe, today. And so I want to prepare properly. Also, let me check and see what the dead counter is on, because I believe... Please work. Work. Oh. Perfect. Yes. I don't know if anyone is going to be... I mean, I don't know who's going to be lurking or not. But, I've been in control of the dead counter. Right? But I'm hoping that eventually I'll get it set up so that way, I mean, of course, I don't have any mods. Like, I have mods, but they're never, I wouldn't say they're never here, but, like, yeah. I don't see a sword in chat. Like, you know, I would have one of my, regulars. I guess the main thing of why I don't really be like, oh yeah, let me make a person as mod, because I don't see a lot of, like, as soon as I'll be like, oh yeah, let me make someone a mod, they decide, not, you know, they decide. It's just a matter of like, listen, I need someone that's actively, you know, in the channel and isn't already a mod elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a person, like, there's, you know, a person that's like a mod for everybody, so he's not, so like, they're not watching, like, me specifically, so I'm like, I'm just like, okay, yeah. Yeah, you'll find a mod. Yeah, like what I'll probably do is, it's gonna come down to be like, hey, who's gonna be... Who will be here, right? That's like, because I feel like as soon as I make someone a mod, they disappear. Because, you know, when I first started out, I had a few kids that want to be mod, and as soon as they mod, they, you know, I don't hear from them. There we go. And this isn't me just being a rant. It's just more of, you know, honestly, the truth. It's not like I'm... It's not like I'm actively like I'm actively trying to like piss people off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know people be like, oh yeah. Anyway, I was getting distracted. Totally. Are you ready for this? So I totally said I was gonna spend offline to
look at something?
I was gonna spend offline doing this, but I didn't. I know my way around a weapon. I know my way around a weapon.
No matter what fate brings us.
Hello, Quinn. Thank you for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Is my duty. Welcome
Okay, stop
to
glazing
HaRd.
her. Alright. Nothing I... Do I buy? I don't know. I'll use my power to help you. I should have a thing saying backseat gaming is allowed. Just because I don't mind. I'm gonna add that. Because, yeah, I don't mind for the sheer fact of, no. Oh, I know where I must go anyway. Let's, actually, I'm curious if he has new stuff. Because those thermites were pretty handy. And Sephiroth, congratulations on being first, 83rd time first champion. While everyone else was lacking, you were indeed snacking. Ooh, question. What made you want to be a streamer? Can I be honest? Like, can I be so honest? So fun fact, I was in the military. I was a reservist, right?
Tell me what you need. Just don't get your hopes.
So, yeah, I was a photographer there. And I wanted to get me a photography job. I wanted to do some photography for, you know, myself. As well as, you know, being able to, just, you know, have a bit of, you know, get some XP in that. So what I ended up doing, I did some school photography for a bit, but that wasn't, you know, that became too much of a chore, where I was like, I'm not making, like, you know, like, I was making okay money, but, like, getting up at 6 and getting home, you know, 12 hours, you know, driving all around in a Prius. I mean, it was cool for a bit, but then, you know, I was like, yo, and then it being seasonal because, you know, school, you know, school's being out, I was like, okay, let's, not do that. Well, no, because, they wanted me at JCPenney to hold me off, and I was like, I was scared of holding children, wrapping up children, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and, check out, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I still want to be able to, you know, like, I want to do my own stuff, and they was very strict on, oh, yeah, you can't promote your own stuff, you are JCPenney only, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I hate it. And so, yeah, I was not vibing with that at all, and so I quietly quit. And so, after that point, yeah, cause really, I just wanted to be able to buy my own 5D Mark IV, so that way I can make YouTube videos and do scripts and movies and stuff like that. Because really, one of the biggest things I wanted to do for the longest time is be an actor. Or if not that, work in, like, media and stuff like that. So, like, this was gonna be my stepping stone for that. However, yeah. So, pretty much, this was gonna be my stepping stone for that. However, it's been 6 years now. And I am not quite sure how I feel. I mean, the most subs, like, I'm not, like, I hate how it feels like, oh, if you tell people you stream for money, it's like frowned upon and people don't want to watch you. But at the same time, like, it's like, mind you, the biggest thing, not a lot of people now know this, but like another big reason why I've been streaming as much, for, like, I try not to stream so much, but then sometimes I'm like, yo, I kind of, like, you know, I kind of do need another thing of income, because, you know, the big thing that, I was dealing with, back in, I think, 2022, 2023, and this was a whole twit longer, so, like, don't worry, like, but serious note, so I was in an apartment with my brother and my two sisters. My two sisters, they didn't really have a job yet because, you know, they have sickle cell, and they were trying to still apply for work from home jobs, but well, I think actually at that point they were kind of doing school, and I was like, okay, fine. So it's just me and my brother working, and we was in my mom's apartment, but then my mom moved to be with her new husband. And so when the lease was up, we had to move because it was starting to creep up to almost $2,000 for a 2-bedroom apartment, right? Like, and we basically couldn't afford it, because, like, I was already pawning off some of my older cameras to help, and with no possibility of getting them back on time, unless, you know, I hope that I was able to get a bonus or something, and so yeah, because I still had my responsibilities too, because I was living with my ex at one point before, and so I didn't really have a responsibility for that, but, like, you know, they wanted like, if it weren't for me, we would have been screwed, right? So because I was paying, you know, the other bills, I was still paying for my car, and what I ended up doing was I took a personal loan out to pay for the down payment for the apartment. You know, for the apartment and moving. So I basically took out $5,000 because they wanted the deposit. They wanted I think first month's rent or something like that. And yeah, that pretty much, you know, ended up being $5,000. And, you know, I had to pay that back monthly because I didn't have it, like, I couldn't get that from the bank. I had to get that from, like, a place like One Main or whatever, right? And the APR on that was brutal. Like, it is brutal. I'm still paying off of it, mind you. So, like, that's something I'm dealing with. And the big thing about it, so I was paying that and the bills. So pretty much my hands were tied. My brother, while we were moving, wrecked his car. And this was, like, I don't know how many times he's wrecked his car, but he had an SUV, wrecked it, totaled. And so he went out and got a new car. I didn't know at the time what the car was. I just saw him pull up with, you know, a newer car, and I was like, okay, cool, he got a car, whatever. Next thing I know, I'm getting calls because I had to co-sign because we needed 3 times the rent, so I had to like put my name on it. So we're like, okay, boom, there's three of the rent. Because he had the 2, but I had the 1, basically, I think. And so, you know, and I think because of that, mind you, I'm literally paying all the bills. I'm literally paying all the bills I'm paying off my loan, my car loan, and the bills. Right? And so I'm sitting here and it's like, oh, getting calls about, oh, my brother didn't pay the rent. I'm like, why am I getting calls? Why is he not getting the calls? It's just getting forwarded to me, and I've been telling him, hey, you know, they're calling about the rent. I'm never getting any, like, he doesn't message me anything about anything at all. And come April, I'm about to get ready for my birthday. The freaking landlord and whatnot comes knocking at the door, talk about, hey, we haven't paid rent in 11 months. And I'm like, how? How did it get this bad? My brother literally, that day, if I'm not mistaken, recently went down to Florida to go see mom. And everyone's been telling him, hey, make sure you take care of the house first. Make sure you take care of the house first. I'm still getting calls about it. And I'm like, 11 months. 11. I go up to the thing, trying to figure out what's going on. You never paid in 11 months. And I'm sitting here like, why? I'm going to find out. I'm like, okay, what I got to do to make up this money? What I have to do to make up this money? And come to find out, because what I ended up doing was I was trying to lower my car payments or my insurance. I was going to take off you know, full coverage and put on liability. Come to find out that on the address file, when it's, you know, when I try to look up, you know, your stuff via address, my brother had a 2020 something, like, and this was like in 2023. So like basically a damn near Chevy Malibu, right? Fairly new. And he told me that he was paying $500 a month for the car and another $500 for the insurance because he kept wrecking cars under the, you know, the young drivers thing, right? Because, you know, they have a fee, you know, they charge you more for being a young driver. And so I'm sitting here like, one, I've been told him to go and get a loan through the bank. Never go through the dealership. Go through the bank. Because you'll get a better interest rate, you'll have better payments, and you won't have to deal with that. He never did. Always went to a dealership. I basically was like, yo, go find some of these cars off the street, see if you can see something for $500 to $1,000, so that way you don't have to pay. Like, dude, the car was like 20 grand. Why the hell do you have a 20 grand car? None of my cars that I've bought or I finance was that much. Like my car now was like 10 grand only because they put add-ons on it so that way they could approve the loan. Because really it was seven. And the only reason I got that car is because my brother wrecked another one and I had another car. Like, you know, basically I went out, got another car so he can borrow the other. So that way I wouldn't have to drive him 3 hours to work. And so basically, and then he got into an accident with that one. Didn't even have insurance on it, and I almost paid $1,000 just to get that unsuspended. I was like, no, 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 no. You are paying for this. You are absolutely paying for this all by yourself, because I told you to get insurance on it. Because there's no way I'm paying for his insurance. So, you know, like, yeah, I would love to treat this as a hobby, but at the same time, I'm like, listen, there is no other way that I can afford to, you know, try to clear this debt or, you know, make some attempt at a saving money, because I have that burden still looming on me. Like, I literally can't move wrong. You know, I can't make, you know, I tried my best not to make dumb decisions, but it really doesn't even matter, because of the fact of, like, no matter, you know, every time we make, every time he makes a bad decision, we end up suffering from it. You know, the family sufferings of it. And so I'm sitting here, like, you know, still trying to pay off that toxic loan. And, like, pretty much once I get rid of that, that will probably put me, like, that's a big sigh of relief right there. Because that's, like, the biggest thing holding me back. And then I'll finally be able to, like, do other stuff. And work on, you know, some of my hobbies and stuff. So, like, yeah, not a lot of, like, I think trying to downplay, oh, streaming for money, I'm like, some people kind of have to. And it's really kind of unfair that to ignore them, you know, because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, like, being like, oh, like, I'm trying to do, you know, like, I'm still gonna be me. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, like, I don't want to be an asshole about it. It's just like, hey, this is, like, this is something I had to just basically deal with for a hot minute. And so, like, luckily it's not as much of an issue now. It's just, I would like to finally be free without that, like, low-key stressing me out. Because, like, during our summer, like, our hours got cut because of being a summer. And, you know, things was, like, getting, like, a bit pressured on and whatnot. And I'm like, well, I really can't do much. I mean, door dashing has kind of been terrible. Basically a waste of time. Because I'm losing weight, like, because I feel like basically I was losing too much money to make it back. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was something that I had to basically deal with. Let's change weapons. I want to change weapons. Let's see if, sounds like you're having it rough. I wish I could help, man. Oh, not, like, listen. It may feel like it's a bit rough, And like, yeah, like right now I still feel a lot better than before. Like freaking, like, you know, we was basically facing eviction. And if I got evicted because of him, like, and I couldn't find a place to like, luckily for the, like, the emergency donathon, we was able to get enough. And then the guy was patient enough to give us enough time and money to be able to, well, luckily that was able to give us enough to, we ended up after, you know, the donos and my check, I was able to put down enough of a deposit to get us a trailer for a bit, and that helped tremendously. But then I went back to square one when my brother decided to leave, not tell nobody. Once he got money, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna straight up leave. Because he was paying me rent for that. And then now I'm like, wait, great. Now I'm sitting on a trailer I can't even really sell. I didn't even get my deposit back. Like, the landlord just pretty much dipped. I don't have the title, nothing. So I'm just like, well, I'm losing $200 on that because, like, I basically can't sell it, but I'm paying for the lot rent. But, you know, the best thing, like, people say this all the line on Twitch and stuff, the best thing for, you know, you to do, if you can't help financially, just being here, right, you know, holding on to the ad, like, you know, watching through the ads and stuff, and, you know, just being here, I'll get a little bit of ad revenue, sharing some of my clips, making clips, posting them on your socials. I know people make fan cams and stuff like that. All that stuff, like, that helps get eyes on me. And, you know, all that really does help. And I appreciate it. Like, you being here now, I appreciate it. Stuff like this is, like, you know, something I really enjoy to, like, because, you know, it's like, I just like that, like, freaking. And honestly, also helps me because, you know, I be bored and lonely sometimes, and I'm also I crave attention. That's one of the things. I stream a lot because I crave attention, and, you know, some of my like some people, I really enjoy their company, and there's you know, like, I enjoy the people on the internet more than some of the people I deal with in real life. And I like, you know, and so, like, I really enjoy y'all company. Like, you know, even if you're even though if, like, you know, if like somebody's lurking or whatever, I'm like, it's fine, but like, I really enjoy talking to people. So if you're a yapper, like, you know, you have a special place in my heart. Okay, so we're at the arcade. I think this door is new. Oh, wait. I forgot. I need to go somewhere else. If you know, you know. Also, Quinn, our fellow Liza P expert. Before I go to the Malum district, do you know any other places I can go for the black market that's probably cheaper? Oh, whoa. You don't actually? Fair enough. That's where I go for items myself? Ah. Because I
BoSsEs
forgot the
work hard
one...
too, you know. Enjoy the black market collection.
Don't really need that. Don't really need that. Cluster. I only got 2 of these. We need to... Oh, I can only buy 1. All right. Time to go get some money. Oh my goodness. Don't back up. Ooh, hard. Got him. Never would have made it. And chat, that was extremely tough because I was in the door frame. Like, if that just hit the wall one good time, I would have been
Enjoy the
cooked.
black market collection.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that again. Also, it says 13 minutes. I'm gonna take an ad break at the top of the hour, so that way we don't miss anything. I'm gonna take a quick break. 3 minutes. 3 minutos. Oh, went through my whole block. Unbelievable. That was a death I was not expecting. It was a rainy day. There we go. Olay. Ayo, Ash. Hey, yo. How are you doing? This is a rare occasion. How's it going?
The bosses work hard too, you know. Enjoy the black market collection.
What's the math like? Do I have a saw? I need to get a saw. Cluster grenade. I am well. Actually paying attention to the fact that Twitch exists. Well, that's good. I missed you dearly. Hopefully, yeah, things been going well for you and the family. We can get that or a saw. Well, we need more bombs. But yeah, welcome into the Cruel Summer Marathon. We're trying to finish Liza P this year. We made great progress last time. Hey, get back here. Oh my goodness. You dirty dog. I can't believe this. I got rid of the big guy, but couldn't get the last one. Oh, geez, got clapped. They ganged up on me. Unfairly, by the way. Just gonna stand there and watch you burn. You just gonna stand up there? You're not gonna face me? Don't make me come up there. I'll come up there. Oh, there you go. There you go. What? Punk.
The bosses work hard too, you know.
The bosses work hard too, you know.
Black market collection.
Randomly buying this just cuz. I think I need more cluster grenades more than anything. Alright. And now I'm gonna do that again. It's funny, like, how every other run, I'm dying here. Oh, wait. I'm going the wrong way. Ooh. That was better. Indeed.
The bosses work hard too, you know.
Now, I'm not sure about this area that we're about to go in, but I'm confident that, I actually don't know, but, we are going to BRB. We're going to BRB, because like I said, top of the hour. When we come back, we'll go on to the new area. So, don't go anywhere. Bye.
Bruh. Hey, yo, who messing with my lock like that, though?
Man, I can't even get in. Come on. Then I'll go up.
What are you doing? Oh, what the freak? Yo. Yo. I got freaking. What? What? Oh.
Live at 8:45 a.m. Pacific tomorrow as we get ready for 24 entertainment, Xbox, and so much more. We will see you then. Now, though.
Go to a river, grab a fish, go to a farm, grab veggies, go to the ocean, grab seaweed, go to Asia, grab rice, make sushi.
Not sure how the sheep's gonna feel about that, though. Look how sad. Look how sad the sheep is. Soft and fluffy again. Yay. I like how the signs do that. That was cute.
How are you? What was that? What was that, Chad? What was that?
Wow, let's go.
Goodbye, cool world. Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. And
Where's the train? Oh, there's the train. Here we go. The guards aren't even down. Oh my goodness. No shot. Boo! Boo! My mouse is freaking wet. You're missing. You're missing. Got him! Oh my goodness, that was clutch and a half. Oh my goodness, hell yeah. That was indeed. Come on now. Really? Really? Is that all I can do? Come on, stop it! Stop it! This is like that one episode of The Big Bang Theory. Come on, stop! Stop! Please! Ah! Stop it! Wow! That was insane! What even happened? That was up in the air. Oh, it was an own goal. I'm sorry, man. When I was free for the summer, like the only day I worked was Sunday at my main job. Well, not my main job, it used to be my main job, but then then I worked at a photography company. What I did used to stream. I would casually stream 12 hours a day. Casually.
Boom! Roasted! And Playboy Cardi's coming on.
So not only did I miss, I overshot it, and that's my biggest fear right there. That is exactly it. That right there is my biggest fear. That is exactly why I would rather leave it short. Point blank, period. Because you get it.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and take that clip. I should have just clipped that too. I don't have a free hand.
Picking up for lost time. What's gonna happen? The train police is gonna stop me? Oh no! 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 What? What? Hey, look, they kissing.
Got to get the energy from food. You should eat balanced meals.
Hard to tell. What is this, a crab game? Hey, you're not even looking at me. Notice me. I see you eyeing me back there. She won't even face me. Wow. Yo. It said yo. Why did this Whopper say yo to me? Why did this Whopper say yo to me?
Okay, I'm back. I do apologize. I saw some interesting news that I was interested in. So there's gonna be a new Static Shock comic with Batman Beyond. Yeah. I say, I really did like Static when I was younger. I was upset that there wasn't any more stuff with it. And pretty much what I'm getting told was, it was all based on the fact that, Static and Batman Beyond, oh yeah. And the big thing about it was, that they didn't have the show continue on more was because it didn't sell enough toys. But the only toy they had was like some bullshit Subway toy that they really didn't put any thought into. And I'm like, well, if I knew about it, I would have definitely done something about it. Like, you know, I mean, I was a child and, you know, I wasn't in control of, you know, the toy buying in the house. But still, you know what I'm saying?
exhibition theme was automatic puppets and City of the Future. The plan was to showcase and demonstrate the most advanced technology in Krot. But you know the rest. You can't hold an exhibition in a city that's fallen into utter chaos. And now the whole city is an exhibition of a nightmare.
Bro spitting bars. Alright, follow. When you reach the open area with the fountain, you already see the exhibition up the hill. Check the staircase on the left side of the fountain to find a dark moonstone of covenant. Oh, I bet this would have been lovely. Top of the morning to you. Ooh. Alright, so there's nothing here. So I'm supposed to go down by the lamp, the back corner of the plaza. Alright, okay. There we go. Hey, buddy. Yeah, come get your mans. Oh, damn. I remember there was one Static Shock episode or one Batman Beyond episode. I think they had both, where Static went into the future and Batman Beyond. I did quick work of that guy. Where's your head at? Where's your head at? Where's your head at? I wake up every day is a daydream. Everything in my life ain't what it seems. I wake up just to go back to sleep. I'm too shallow because it's been too deep. Alright, staircase on the right corner. Hey, buddy. Really didn't want to use that, but I didn't want to die and go all the way back there just yet. Alright, where's the dog? Oh, there you go. Falling from the sky. Next up. Yes, I'm looking at a guide. Like... Hey, doggy. Alright, so now here's supposed to be a big... Alright, let me see if I can do this in one hit. Let me also... I know I got... Oh my goodness, I missed. There we go. Woo! I ain't going out like no punk bitch. Damn. It's like a game of DVD at this point. Oh. Alright, come on. What was that, brother? Oh my goodness. I got fooled. And I have to go all the way back here. Ugh. Foolish fool, he took you to school. Now, I wouldn't say all that. I feel like I'm missing something. Heavily underrated right here. All right. Ha ha ha. Where are you going? Bad dog. Ooh, didn't even... I wasn't even looking at that parry, to be honest. Oh, that didn't work out. Where are you going, buddy? No shot! That was illegal. Somebody shoot him or something. Can I get a yikes forever in the chat? You know what? That's another thing. I kind of want to cosplay as Little Miss Fortune for the next convention I go to. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, and I never do it, because, like, I'll be, like, so lost on... I could have easily... Well, I wouldn't say easily done it. I probably could have done it. I just forgot. Well, freaking... Oh my goodness. I'm on the ground again. Oh my god. Working on in, that is illegal. Oh my gosh.
A new guest has arrived on the platform.
Give me a second, give me a second, give me a second. I am still on the ground. Hello, Frosty. Welcome in. I appreciate you for following as well. I did see that on here. Top of the time zone to you. Your outfit will be delivered tonight as soon as I finish what I gotta do. Understandable. Thank you so much. I shall indeed pay you handsomely. Some more. Now, if I could just get up on the ground, from the ground, I will be okay. If I could just get up. You can do it. No, you stay there? I guess I did. My whole butt's out and everything. And also, don't mind George Clooney in the middle. Apparently, there we go. All right, but yes. Top of the time zone, everybody. Thank you, Raiders. Thank you again, Aqua. Also, real quick, Aqua, do you want to play clip roulette? You have good clips. Sure, okay, cool. So yeah, I'll do that in a bit. Top of the time zone, everybody. I am Freddy. I mean, it's not gonna be like bad in the sense of like, oh, like freaking, it wouldn't make me uncomfortable or something like that. But yeah, let me get back to my introduction. Top of the time zone. I am Freddy. The normal Freddy you would see as of late would be the multiverse VTuber. Based on, you know, who would be, like, depending on the game I'm playing, there will probably be a different Freddy for each one. You are tuning in to what I like to call my Cruel Summer Marathon, where I am going to be playing Souls-like games for the rest of the summer. Liza P being one of them. This is why you're seeing Alfredo here. He is the rogue magician that Aqua, I C-worded Aqua on. Thank you, Baffy, for the follow. So yeah, the rogue magician here is a magician, but he chooses not to because he doesn't want to be found out. And so really he has an interest in swords, and so he wants to become a blacksmith. And there was a war where the mages were forced to fight in, kind of like Howl's Moving Castle. You know, it's like, you know how he had to get in a war. But I didn't want to be a part of that because, you know, they were trying to, you know, kill off all the mages. So the next season, I became an undercover butler to find out what's going on. And so here we are, doing this. So yeah, there's gonna be different Freddys for different occasions. So do be advised. So if you see this guy, he's gonna be playing roguelikes and soul-like games. And right now we're playing Liza P. If we finish that, we will play Elden Ring. But we also got another game. Like last year we did Liza P. until we couldn't. This year I have a couple more games. I have Code Vein and Elden Ring as well. So once I finish, right now this is Liza P week. Then next week we're gonna try out Code Vein. And if I finish Liza P, I will try Elden Ring. But yes, welcome in. Thank you everybody for showing up. If y'all have to lurk and whatnot, by all means. And oh yeah, before we start, let's do the clip roulette. Did y'all hear anything? I was told there was audio, but I guess I couldn't hear anything because the freaking music in here. But yes, if you haven't followed Aqua yet, please, by all means, I encourage you to do so. Ha! Stab, stab. Bad dog. So yeah, y'all got a bit of a sneak peek of the latest rendition of my model. The hair is more a unified color. Actually, I believe it's a different shade of purple. I mean, which is fine. I mean, I like this one, but I kind of like when I was first designing the hair, I kind of was just like throwing stuff together. So this time around, I kind of kept it simple, because at the end of the day, what's gonna happen is what was gonna happen is I was going to what I do is I have RealToon shaders, and this is actually under RealToon shaders too, so it's gonna be a bit different compared to normal. Oh my goodness, how did I miss that? Oh my god, chat, I am cooked. How did that not hit? What? Unbelievable. Oh, did I ever clip the other one? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. All right. And also, if you didn't know, I have a dead counter. So every time I die, I'll have the counter up and it automatically sends a clip so I could send to my server. So when I'm done with the Cruel Summer Marathon in September, I will have a montage of all my deaths. I kind of just want to speed through all of this. I know I should be patient. I sold. I deadass sold. Unbelievable. I got way too aggressive there for no reason. I absolutely got aggressive. Cause like I've been here before. I've been here. And you know, like these guys I didn't have trouble with, but I got sloppy and aggressive, and that was my total demise. And you know, that's fine. I've already died 6 times tonight. And there's supposed to be a boss coming up. And that big knight was not the boss. You know what I might do? Hit the TiVo. Disappear. Now that I got my ergo. I am gonna go to the Malum district and buy stuff. Because I am in desperate need of items. One of these days, I'm gonna have to look at all 36 plus of my clips. So that way, I could name them and stuff. Because also another thing I gotta do is, you know, I'll be posting like, I would say I post like the best clips on TikTok. At least right now, I'm guaranteed right now I could post every clip a day.
The bosses work hard too, you know.
Granted, they're not going to be good clips, but it's just some, like right now, I'm just posting stuff so that way, you know, people know of me, and, you know, especially with the tag TRM Cruel Summer. So if you see any of my clips and you're like, oh yeah, that's a good one, feel free to share on your socials, whether it be Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok, and whatever. Please share with your friends, because that will help me tremendously. Because, you know, I like, you know, I like talking to people. And, you know, like hanging out and, chicken nuggets. And, one cool thing about me, is I am a variety streamer because of spicy nuggets. I hate where everything is just spicy. Like, it doesn't always have to be spiced. Like, I want to be able to eat my food without... Oh my goodness, how'd I miss that? Oh my goodness, I survived. Barely. Oh my gosh. I barely survived that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm ergo farming. I'm using, because ergo is the currency around here. I'm just ergo farming this area. So that way I can buy stuff for the fight that I'm currently stuck at. So right now I'm gonna buy more saw blades, because I need those. I'm also buy these, because they're basically, they don't do much, but they provide basically a distraction, or, you know, so that way I could lead somebody to where I need them to go. So all I have to do is go to the Stargazer and it'll reset something. The P works hard too. I reckon so. How's it going, Weird? Top of the time zone to you. Nearly top of the hour. Where's that guy going? You didn't see that, man? Boom. Roasted. Speaking of which, at the top of the hour, I do my 3-minute ad break, so that way, I could also take a break. Drink water, all that stuff. Really do appreciate that. Y'all stick around. Really helps me a lot.
The bosses work hard too, you know.
I was
Enjoy
actually...
the black market collection.
I was actually thinking about, because I recently went to GalaxyCon this year, and, my thoughts, I feel like Raleigh is doing, I don't know if it's Raleigh or GalaxyCon, but I feel like they're biting the hand that feeds them a little bit too much. Because even though the tickets, you know, the tickets for the weekend have been like, they always have them at discounted early on if you buy them early. This year it was indeed packed. And, you know, I was fortunate enough I was able to get a ticket. But the biggest problem was it was packed. A lot of the stuff was expensive. A lot of the stuff, you know, don't get me wrong, I do like things being 3D printed, but a lot of the stuff in there was also expensive. And I'm just sitting here like water should not be $5, and they closed off the vending machines. Oh my goodness, I'm about to die. I'm about to die. I'm about to die. Woo. No, they turned off the vending machines for the event so that way you have to drink the $5 water. You have to take the $5 water. And it was extremely hot. And I'm like, dude. It's already bad enough that I tried to meet, I did meet APA and lost $150 because, and I'm gonna keep talking about this because freaking, they left early on Sunday after they were persuading me to do a video, you know, buy the video package they was gonna do. And then my phone decided to die. And I was like, well,
Work hard too,
all I wanted was a photo.
Enjoy
They,
the black market collection.
you know what I'm saying? But I was like, yeah, because, yeah, like, freaking getting an autograph and stuff, like, everything was, like, $50 to $100, and I'm like, look, I want to buy stuff from, like, small businesses, right? You know, from, like, the indie, you know, people. And I'm like, how am I supposed to? Because, one, I really didn't even have money for the event. Anyway, I had to sell off my Pokemon collection to buy stuff. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like GalaxyCon is just biting the hand that feeds them a little bit too much. Like if there was another convention that was not as, taxing, I feel like it would be a lot better, honestly. But alas, here we are. GalaxyCon, more like a GalaxyCon, right? Like, I would like to be at a point where, you know, like, I want to be able to go to conventions and stuff like that, but, you know, stuff like that is going to leave a sour taste in my mouth, because a lot of people were complaining about, like, you know, like, stuff like that. Bro just stabbed me and walked away. That was disrespectful. And so I move on. Alright, you're cooked. Oh, if you died in my arms tonight, must have been something you said. If you died in my arms tonight. Hello, Wisconsin.
The bosses work hard too, you know.
Chat,
Enjoy the black market collection.
The Drew Carey show. The Drew Carey show. Or the That's So 70s show. I'm gonna leave a poll. And when we come back, I want to know what do y'all prefer. Granted, I know some of y'all cats may not be around for that. But I'm curious because I've seen a bit of both. So we're gonna take this ad break since it is the top of the hour, and we'll BRB TTYL LMFAO.
Couldn't leave. They said return to sender. Huh? Looks like nobody's home. That's way sad. Guess I'll go home or something. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was an event for sure. Okay. That yes, we got it! We got it! We got it! We got it! Wow. Can I get a clip, please? Let me go ahead and, now. Well, that's great. But here's the kicker. Oh. I don't have... Like, that's what's lighting up my face right now. Oh, also, another thing about this box, there's a hole in it. Twitch streamer, freaking... Oh, make sure you turn your viewers off. You know, same type... Oh, we got Doctor. Oh my gosh! Someone clipped that. I just walked both face. Oh damn. Boom! Roasted! And Playboy Cardi's coming on. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and take that clip. I should have just clipped that too. I don't have a free hand. Woo! I took us both out. I did not care. All right, now that that's done. Dang it, stupid dog. You make me look bad. After further decision and top of the time zone to you all, it has been decided that no one has seen either show to understand what I'm referring to. So the big thing, welcome back. Thank you, Weird. The big thing about the two shows, in their opening, their opening theme, what I was thinking about, That's So 70s show features a song where at the end they mention "Hello Wisconsin," like what I was singing there, ad-libbing that one song from the 80s. That reminded me of the other show that I remember watching briefly when I was a child for some reason, was the Drew Carey show, which I didn't knew Drew Carey from the Drew Carey show. I knew Drew Carey from Whose Line Is It Anyway? And he actually had a show at one point, and the opening song used for that was Cleveland Rocks. And at the end of that song, he's like, Ohio, because, the show, I guess, either he was from Ohio or the show was in Ohio or both. But, Cleveland Rocks is actually a song. I heard it first from the Drew Carey show, but I also, when I had a 360, I played MLB Baseball 2K9. That was actually one of my first baseball games. I wasn't really a baseball guy, but I just like swinging a bat. Like, I couldn't do anything else, but yeah. So here we are once again, ergo farming until we get enough. Pretty much, I want to be able.
Work hard too.
the bosses work hard too, you know. So I want to get a few more cluster grenades. Definitely need more cockpit body fluid. Pretty much this is acid, basically. It does acid damage. This right here inflicts electric blitz. So I would like 5 more of these. 8 more of these. And a few more of these. So I'm going to be farming. I'm going to be over here a bit working on these 3 right here. So I'm going to need a lot there. I'm going to see if I don't need it, though. Because, like, if I could get through that night that I was having issues with over there without using a bunch of these, this would be great. Because I do not want to deal with whatever the big boss is. And we're already 2 hours in. I don't want this to be a long night because I do have to wake up in the morning. But I will say, I think depending on how I feel. Oh, wrong way. Depending on how I feel, I am definitely interested in ooh, big parry. No way you could shoot through that. Buddy, you're gonna burn. Right now, I'm playing with him a little bit. Bro thinks he's fireproof. Oh, got him. Boom. Cause I'm a smooth operator. A smooth operator. Those same things? Yeah, cause every time I go to the Stargazer, it will reset the
BoSsEs work hard too, you know.
the common enemies.
Enjoy the black market collection.
Only the major enemies don't get respawn points unless, you know, I skill issue them. Actually, can I add Ergo? I could just add Ergo. Make this a little bit easier. The idea here is I want to have a full loadout at least, because I can only carry but so much on hand. So like if I have the opportunity to have all 3 on hand, I'm gonna go ahead and have all 3 on hand instead of having enough to have on hand and in my secondary compartment. Because when I go fight these guys, if I don't have it on hand, I'm gonna have to move it up forward. However, if, you know, I die and respawn, it'll reset back to whatever I have. So, like, say if this was 3, but I really have 5, if I go through all 3 here, I won't get the 2 left over until I get to a spawn point. That's like the big thing. All right, hold on now. Oh, I got everybody. All right. And again, I don't have to heal because once I get to the Stargazer, I heal myself.
The bosses work hard too, you know.
So right here, I don't necessarily need to grab extra right at this moment when I still need to get a full loadout of here. But like, that's the big thing. If I have a full loadout here, if I go into that fight, I won't be like, oh crap, I need to, you know, get more. But while I'm at it, I might as well, you know, stock up on this, get that. So now, no matter what, I'm covered. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and try our hand at that guy again. And the crazy part is we still haven't faced the boss. I thought we was gonna be facing the boss a lot sooner. Come to find out, like I wasn't expecting more characters in the way before the boss, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I hope, cause normally they'll have a point where I could just walk up to it. I hope there's a point there where I'm like, okay, hey, let's go ahead and do that. So that way I'm not sitting here, basically having to, go through all the, you know, all these people I'm facing now. Of course, if I defeat the knight, I'm probably most likely, you know, once you defeat the big knight once, the knight's pretty much a mini boss. And so once I get past the mini boss, I'm fine. It's just a matter of, you know, that's the only thing you'll have to beat once. All these other cats, yeah, I'm gonna have to, you know, actually do my due diligence with. Okay, wait a minute. No way they got that much damage on me. No way. Oh, I didn't have my lock on. There we go. Good comeback. Alright, now I gotta turn up left here. See, I didn't like how I had to use 3 of my, my heals there. I gotta wait this guy out. Another sawtooth wheel, good. Got one more dog. They really ate through that for some reason. Alright, now here is the main... pretty much the main event. I want to make sure. Oh my goodness. So, a lot of things happened there. A lot of things happened. I had him staggered, right? I had him staggered. But the problem was, when I tried to do my power swing, it didn't do it. So I'm out of this. So what I'm gonna do is swap that out for something I know I need. Because really, I didn't want the cluster grenades up there. I really wanted this up here. Because I need acid. And unfortunately, I can't put down my acid trap anymore. So this is gonna have to do. Hearing this soundtrack is almost like a nightmare at this point, but luckily... Now, if anyone's seen Beverly Hills Cop 3, this is what it kind of reminds me of. Yeah, who remembers Wonder World? It was supposed to be like fake Disney. I'm gonna peek out. Activate this, guys. Oh, crap. I'm getting everybody. I'm getting everybody. Woo. Oh, man. They made me take that. I could have done that with a little bit less damage, but I survived. So yeah, this is like Liza P. This game is my first ever Souls-like game. And I gotta say, like, I don't know how many times I officially died for this game. I know it's over 100. But I will say, I'm very fortunate. You know, that this game hasn't made me, you know, I don't really feel much of a rager when it comes to this game. That's no good. Gosh! Didn't know he had that kind of reach. I could beat him. Bro just exploded. GG's, mate. But unfortunately, I might actually die here. Unless I'm gonna look at the guide again. Okay, so there will be a Stargazer. Okay, thank goodness. I think if we get to the Stargazer, we should be good. However, I gotta be very careful. Gotta put my guard up. Got a Legion magazine. That's for my arm. A tram! So apparently, I can't put my guard up on the train. All right. Better not be any surprises down here. The Grand Exhibition Gallery. Stargaze and heal. All right. Ugh. Excuse me. I gotta tell you, that's a big sigh of relief. And in theory, chat, I could basically end this here. Because I believe if, I'm gonna look through this playthrough again. Like, that's why, like, I'm not afraid, you know, backseat gaming is allowed, you know, as long as you're not being an asshole about it, right? Well, according to this, there's still no boss. So basically, what I gotta do... rest up, take the path behind the Stargazer, which leads to the front door. Steamroll that. It's not a real door. Ugh. Bad dog. They tried so hard, and they got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Oh, there's that bozo I gotta have to face. I see them over there. But yeah, chat, I think I am going to call that a dub. I feel like I want to call that a I feel like I want to call that a win for now. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and I don't have to deal with this right now. I had my big win of the night, and yeah. And besides, I've stayed over a couple of times, and like I said earlier in the stream, I do want to play with Mama Sume some more, because I haven't, like, because I've been so devoted to this, I haven't been able to play. And yeah. Also, if you want to join my Discord, I do have a Discord. I don't normally share a link because, you know, I don't want bots to come in, right? I will, one time only, make a Discord link where it's only active for the next 2-3 hours, right? And so if you want to join, I'll join your Discord. Thank you. You know what? I'll make it an hour. And what I'll also do is I'll make it so if you don't put any roles down, you won't be in the server. So here's the server. Feel free to join. And now, I'm gonna go find and see if one of my favorite people are on. And I'm in luck, because one of my favorite people is indeed on. Chat, you'll love their model. It's beautiful. They're actually raising funds so they can get a 2D version of it. And I've seen a sneak peek of it, and it is beautiful. Drop dead gorgeous. I appreciate y'all so much. Same time tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 Pacific. More Lies of P. So I really hope to see y'all there, giving me all your love and support. And as always, I'm Freddie J. Y'all have a good day and a better tomorrow. Until next time, we shall see ya. Au revoir.